In this class, I want to answer some of the questions that students often ask about how they can include Christian perspectives in their assignments and also how they can include personal reflections in their assignments. Firstly, it's helpful to think about the ways in which the particular assignment that you're working on and the particular subject and subject area calls for a Christian perspective or a personal perspective. For instance, in an educational subject, you'll have Christian perspectives on the particular educational topic that you're looking at, or in a social science subject, you'll have Christian perspectives on the particular topic that you're looking at. And so I suggest you do some research on the nature of the Christian perspectives that are required in the particular topic for your particular assignment question. And it's a good idea to combine your own personal reflections where you're authentic and you think about what it means to you personally as a Christian from your Christian background and from your thoughts as a Christian, with doing some research and finding out what other scholars have said about Christian perspectives on your topic. It's a good idea to combine your own personal reflections where you are authentic and you think about what it means to you. And you could even write a diary and write down, in my reflection on this particular day, this stood out to me. And you can even quote diary entries where you reflect on what a particular passage of scripture says to you about the topic, what a particular day of reflection tells you about the topic. And you'll certainly have to do this after you graduate. You'll have to think about personal Christian perspectives and personal perspectives and ethical perspectives on the issues that you face. And secondly, I suggest that you do research using Google or Google Scholar or a search engine and book resources in the library and journal articles through the college search engines to find scholars who've written on Christian and personal perspectives on your particular topic. Google Christian perspectives on the essay question that you're looking at or on the topic that you're looking at. You may be able to research questions relating to the sources of meaning, the epistemology, what the knowledge and meaning for this topic means and where does it come from and how does it relate to particular perspectives, humanistic or self-focused perspectives or godly or biblical or other perspectives. You could do some research on background sources of knowledge for your particular topic. You could do research on authority. So where does the authority for giving answers to these questions come from? How do people find answers? And as Christians, how do they wrestle with these different sources of ways of knowing? And how do they wrestle with putting into practice what they have learned? Certainly, being practical and real and authentic are central to our Christian faith. Ethics too is central, and you can ask questions as to where does a loving, kind and good understanding of the topic and its application come from. It's important to consider evidence. Where does Christian evidence come from? That is, scholars who've looked for a theology and a way of believing and engaging with God in your particular topic are going to get these sources from particular places, and you can spend a brief amount of time reflecting on where these sources come from. Some students only put their own ideas in these sections on Christian perspective or on their own personal reflections, and I feel this is fairly weak. It doesn't really dig deeper into the foundational understanding of these ideas, and it's better to test your ideas by considering the views of scholars and writers who've written on Christian perspectives and personal perspectives. It's very important to find some of the best scholars, and with a little searching, you may be able to find and interact with scholars who've written on Christian personal perspectives on your topic. And don't forget to reference these and begin to explore these further. In this section of your assignment, you may find some valuable insights that you'll begin to look at again and again. Now, some people, of course, when they go to biblical verses, they quote one verse from here, another verse from there, and they put a list of 5 or 10 verses all gathered together. I don't think this works so well as looking more fully into a whole portion of Scripture, a smaller focused area of Scripture where you can dig deeper into the meaning of the passage and how that particular passage applies to the topic and area that you're looking at. So I would suggest one or maybe at the most 2 or 3 major portions of Scripture that speak to your particular topic and area. You can also consider the nature of sound theology. That is, how do people understand whether their views of sound? And theology means the study of God. How do they gain godly perspectives? And one way to do this is to interact with theologians and thinkers and philosophers who've reflected on the ways in which God has revealed sound, solid truth to us. You can consider the relationship between God and humanity and people and God in your area of study, and you can think, how do people gain a rich personal relational understanding of God's presence in the topic and area that they're looking at? And finally, be real, be authentic. Think of the ways in which God might be involved in the particular area of study. He's got grand purposes and how we can understand them. And think of what it means to you personally. While each subject may have different perspectives and may be different in the ways in which it requires Christian and personal perspectives, there are general principles that apply that can be helpful. And these include a sound understanding of a focused number of biblical passages, a sound understanding of traditions and how we got to where we are, a sound understanding of thinking and reasoning, and identifying sound scholars who can speak to us and give us insights, and referencing where these come from, and a real authentic reflection on your experience and your life journey and what it means to you. If you put these principles into practice and reference them well, then I'm sure you'll be able to develop sound understandings of these areas. And so in these classes on Christian and personal perspectives, I'd like to dig deeper into our sources and discuss further the ways in which they can be researched, found, explored, and developed to not only give you better marks in your assignments, but also to help you understand and apply what you're learning to your personal life journey more fully. Thank you. I look forward to reflecting with you further on this.